Bertemu kembali. All right, we're going to go for another discussion on the ASEAN level. ASEAN's telecom sector is undergoing a seismic shift driven by rapid adoption of artificial intelligence AI. And according to IDC, AI spending in Asia Pacific is projected to reach 78.4 billion US dollars by 2027, with telecoms among the top 3 industries leading this charge. And of course, in Malaysia, telcos are increasingly investing in AI-powered platforms to enhance customer experience, automate network operations, and also unlock new revenue streams. And this transformation is not just about technology. It's about survival and competitiveness in a region where mobile penetration exceeds 130% and data consumption is growing at over 20% annually. And joining us today is Gaurav Dhall, Global Vice President of Partnership at Couchbase, to unpack the drivers, challenges, and as well as opportunities shaping AI adoption in ASEAN's telecom landscape. Gaurav, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Let's start our discussion with the key drivers behind this surge in AI adoption among telecom players in ASEAN region and also Malaysia. What drives them to adopt AI in current situation?
Good morning. Thank you for having me here. It's a very interesting topic. South Asian telcos are rapidly adopting AI as 5G rollouts are driving an explosion in network traffic, and customer expectations for personalized and real-time interactions are rapidly expanding. With the expansion of networks and with the rollout of 5G in Asia, there's been an exponential growth in data traffic, and Malaysia is leading that. As a country, as a nation, Malaysia has experienced a significant increase in 5G adoption amongst its population. The percentage of users using 5G has increased to about 54% compared to 25% just about 6 months ago, placing Malaysia as one of the fastest growing nations in terms of expansion and communications in recent times. With that comes the need to adopt this technology for personalization that consumers expect. There's a huge demand of hyper-personalizations. As you can see that the diverse and digitally savvy population around South Asia is expecting tailored services. And AI enables these telcos to analyze the customer behavior in real time to allow them to offer personalized plans and support them on a proactive basis. On the other hand, the telco operators are using AI for operational efficiency and to make sure that they can use predictive maintenance to bring down their cost and minimize failures in their network traffic.
And Gaurav, how are ASEAN, telcos approaching, this transformation differently compared to their global peers?
Very interesting question. ASEAN telcos deal with very low ARPU, as the industry calls it, average revenue per user, compared to the Western world, which is 10 times more, perhaps, return per average consumer in terms of payout per month. With that, there's a need for these telcos to undertake large-scale overhaul and make sure that they keep their technology fresh. At the same time, it's important to integrate AI into their existing systems without disrupting anything. At the same time, keep costs low because they have to service their consumers at very low cost. With this, there's a need to have a multi-cloud environment with edge computing that allows these telcos to prioritize flexible computing setups and deliver consistent services across urban and rural areas. There's an emphasis on AI. The regional telcos, especially in ASEAN, are increasing the use of responsible AI practices to make sure that they're able to offer transparency, they're able to deliver fairness, and they're able to build trust with their customers as well as with regulators.
What's your view on the position of digital telecom startups in Malaysia itself? Are they better suited to adopt AI than established legacy players?
Well, in ASEAN and in Malaysia, most of these startups are digital first players. They have very little legacy to work through. So for them to build infrastructure, they have to be more agile. They have to use modern infrastructure. They have to use flexible processes,
Yes.
and they have to enable AI adoption faster than their counterparts elsewhere in the world.
Yeah.
The telcos still hold a competitive advantage because they have a massive amount of customer data that they possess, and they can monetize that. Couchbase allows this to happen with a very flexible distributed platform that supports real-time AI integration for both startups as well as established telecom providers.
You mentioned a little bit just now, but how can, from your company's perspective, how can Malaysian telcos, leverage an AI-powered real-time data platform, to personalize customer experiences and also enhance data search capabilities and at the same time unlock, new monetization models, as you mentioned just now?
Well, the mobile bandwidth use across Malaysia is on a huge surge. We're talking about 96% of Malaysian households have access to mobile bandwidth as of December last year. With that, Couchbase brings in a platform, a real-time platform that allows to bring all this data together so operators can act on it instantly. They can personalize services on the spot. I'll give you an example. The telcos can combine their billing, their usage, and app engagement to develop a complete 360 degrees view of their customers. With that, they can develop a target plan for upgrades to make sure that the network quality issues and improvement they're looking for, they're able to bring that together and deliver incredible quality of service to their consumers. On the other hand, enterprises can analyze what their engineers are working on, what searches are people working on live data. All this is extremely powerful, and Couchbase has a data-driven telecom, network, provides a data-driven telecom infrastructure wherein we can combine network, the device, and business support data to unlock new sources of revenue.
Gaurav, how are telecom companies in Southeast Asia, especially incorporating data privacy, ethical AI practices? This is very crucial question to be asked, and also at the same time, governance frameworks into their AI strategy itself. Are regulators, across the region doing enough to support this shift?
Well, responsible AI, ethical AI, and making sure data privacy is preserved have become very important topics in our world, in the data world. Enterprises are dealing with it, telecom providers are dealing with it. Couchbase provides built-in security features that allows enterprise-grade security to be available, encryption for data that's at rest or even while it's in transit on the network. We allow role-based access control, audit logging, and all these features that safeguard customer data effectively. To support responsible AI, our platform facilitates the development of AI applications that adhere to ethical standards by providing real-time data processing and minimizing biases throughout the data handling process.
And finally, I want to ask you about because this is the investment at the end of the day for the telecommunication industry itself. So what are the challenges do you foresee or do you see of AI adoption in Malaysia and the wider of ASEAN and Southeast Asia region in that sense, particularly for telecom and also digital native companies?
Well, again, that's an important question, and I'm glad you brought that up. Implementing AI solutions is challenging for telcos in ASEAN, largely due to issues of digital readiness. The regulations are tight, they're still forming. The infrastructure is at various degrees of sophistication and cybersecurity maturity. So that's a very critical issue. Even though Malaysia has very high connectivity, the rollout challenges remain in terms of rural networks, and it falls behind the urban networks. The networks in urban areas are so much more sophisticated than rural networks. So that brings down the ability to deploy strong AI adoption around. There are cities like Jakarta and Manila and Ho Chi Minh City where the networks are really incredible. And I've been to those cities, and I can tell you the networks there are much more powerful than remote areas where the connectivity is based on outdated systems, and that becomes an issue. The other big issue that I see is there's a wide variety and a very, you know, set of different data privacy, cybersecurity, and governance laws across countries in the ASEAN region. The legal framework is fragmented and it's very complicated. And for that, the telcos have to attract really solid talent from around the world, bring them together to make sure that they're able to not only impact what the telcos are doing, but they also are able to impart that knowledge to the existing staff and make them competitive. So companies have to balance new to make sure new with the future, at the same time making sure affordability of their operation and their infrastructure remains, and they're able to bring in incredibly sophisticated technology, very user-friendly, world-class services to the customers at very low cost. Okay. And that challenge remains.
All right. Gaurav, thank you so much for joining us. Help us to understand better about the whole situation, especially in this ASEAN and also Southeast Asia region. That is Gaurav Dhall, Global Vice President Partnership at Couchbase.